This is the second lesson in the topic of algebraic expressions, functions and iteration with me, Mr. Riley. Today we'll be learning about substitution and functions. Here are the stages to today's lesson. First of all, we'll look at substitution. Then we will substitute into functions, do a tick or trash, and then look at some interleaving and reasoning questions. Higher extension today is composite functions. Explanation substitution. We have that A is equal to 3, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to 125. Substitute A and B into the following expressions. So underneath A, I'm going to put 3. Underneath B, I'm going to have 2. And we're going to add those two together, which gives me 5. I'll put it directly underneath, which really lets me see it easily for this addition. Let's look at the subtraction underneath. It'll be very much the same. A is 3, B is 2, and there's our takeaway. 3 take away 2 is 1. Okay, nothing spectacular so far. Let's look here. For this fraction, what I'll actually do is write it side by side, and again the reason for doing that is because it's just easy for me to see. So I have A is 3, B is 2. Depending on what you're asked to do, we could just leave it like that. You might have to change it to an improper fraction or to 1.5, but unless I'm told to do otherwise, I'm just going to leave that like that. Let's look at underneath. I've got B to the power of A. So where we've got B, I'm going to replace that with 2. And where we've got A, I'm going to replace that with 3. So in this question I've got 2 to the power of 3, which we know is 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to be 8. Now this one up here, and I'm just going to circle it. This tends to be one of the ones that I find students don't necessarily do correctly. B to the power of minus 1 is effectively saying, one other way of saying, what is the reciprocal of B? So here we're going to replace that B with 2. So I've got 2 to the power of minus 1. And this is going to be the same as 1 over 2. 2 to the power of minus 1 is equal to 1 over 2. Now, quick explanation. We just saw before that 2 to the power of 3, we know that is 2 times 2 times 2, which we saw was 8. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 1, that is 2. Now look at the pattern I've got going down here. Do we notice I'm halving every single time? So if I do it again, half of 2, 2 to the power of 0 is 1. Another misconception, anything to the power of 0 is 1. So you just do what I've done for any number. And again, we halve again. So look, we've got 3, 2, 1, 0. So the next one's got to be minus 1, which gives us that half. Just rub this out of the way so we can see that a bit more clearly. And so we've got 3, 2, 1, 0 to the power of minus 1. So anything to the power of minus 1 will look like this. So another example, let's say I've got 5 to the power of minus 1. That'll just simply be 1 over 5. If I continued that, 2 to the power of minus 2, that'll be the same as 1 over 2 squared, which would be 1 over 4, and this would then be 1 over 2 cubed, which will then be an eighth. Okay, so let's just have that there, and we know that b to the power of minus 1 will be a half for this question. Right, finally I need to replace a with 3 and C with 125. So let's get my root, let's make that a bit bigger so we can see everything. So I've got 3, I've got 125. So this is the cubed root of 125. So I'm kind of thinking, what can I multiply together to make 125? And the answer, of course, is 5. This is not the answer. This is 125. The answer is 5. Press pause and try the example questions. Then press play and I will answer the examples with you. We're going to start out with A is equal to 6, B is equal to 4, C is equal to 2. So instead of B, first of all, I'm going to replace that with my minus 4. Make sure you place it in a bracket before you begin. Minus 4 squared minus AC, that means A times C, so I've got 6 times C, which is 2. And I know that minus 4 squared is plus 16. And then take away 6 is, hang on a moment, I need to think of order of operations. Multiplication comes before that subtraction, so I need to do the 6 times 2 first, which is 12. 12, good. 16 take away 12 gives me 4. So with substitutions, be really careful with your order of operations. Question 2, we've got A is 6 and C is 2 plus, again we've got C is 2 to the power of minus 1. 6 squared is 36 plus 2 to the power of minus 1. That's the reciprocal of 2, so it's 1 over 2. So that's just going to be 36 and a half. Okay, 3 and 4 look fairly similar. What are the differences? Let's find out. So I've got 10 times A, so that's 10 times 6 minus B. And again, I'm going to place that in the bracket. All divided by. We can make it look better than that, can't we? So all divided by 4. Okay, so I would have to evaluate the numerator first with that group, with that root. So inside that, I'd have 10 times 6, which would be 60. Then I have 2 negatives, which give me a positive, so that's 64. So I end up with the square root of 64 over 4. Square root of 64 is 8. I've got 8 over 4, which is 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Let's compare that with this one. Now here, that root affects everything. So I've got 10a, so that's 10 times 6 minus 4. And I'm dividing that by 4. Again, I'm going to end up with 64 divided by 4, but I've got to do the fraction first. 64 divided by 4 is 16, and then I've got to do the square root. I have to put it down here to give myself some room. It's going to be square root of 16, which is 4, and that is my answer. 2 was my answer for this question. Now, what's important is you've got two different buttons on you. If you do it on your calculator, you have a fraction button and then you have your square root button. So for question 3, what we would do first of all is put the fraction button, and then for the numerator put in that root. However, for question 4, we would do that the other way around. We would use the root button first, so we capture everything, because that's what we got in this question, then the fraction button. Press pause and then complete the independent work. Then press play and I will reveal the answers. Substitute into functions. We have f of x is 2x plus 5, g of x is x plus 7, and h of x is x cubed minus x squared. Find the value of, for question 1, f of 4. Well, all I need to do, first of all, is copy out this expression. I need to replace, instead here I've got 4 instead of the x. So all I need to do is replace that x with 4. So I've got 2 times x, which is 2 times 4 plus 5. And that will be 13. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 5 is 13. That's that question finished. Now we'll look at question 2. So instead of g of x, I've replaced that with the x plus 7. So we've got 4 times bracket x plus 7. So I can actually multiply this out if I want to make it a little bit easier. So we've got 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 7 is 28. Now I can substitute in that minus 3. But I'll put that in a bracket. So 4 times minus 3 plus 28. 4 times 3 is 12, so that will be minus 12 plus 28. And that will give us 16. So that answers 16. We should know that as long as I capture that symbol there, minus 12 plus 28 is the same as 28 minus 12. But it's important that I keep that symbol in front if I'm going to change those around. If I just simply change the numbers, then I would get it wrong. So finally, I need to look at h of 3. Well, let's copy that out. And instead here, what we're going to do is replace that 3 with x with 3, should I say. So I have 3 to the power of 3 minus 3 to the power of 2. 3 to the power of 3 is 27. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Minus 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. 27 minus 9 is 18. And that is done. Press pause and try the example questions. Then press play and I will answer the examples with you. f of x equals 15 minus 4x. g of x equals x squared plus x. Find the value of question 1, f5. First job I'm going to do is copy that f of x down. 15 minus 4x. And what I'm going to do is replace x with 5 because we've got f of 5. So let's do that. I've got 5 there. We've got 15 minus 4 times 5. So I've got, let's just do that step by step. 15 minus 4 times 5 is 20. And 15 subtract 20 gives us an answer of -5 for our first question. Notice I'm using order of operations, so I do the multiplication first. I don't do 15 minus 4. Question 2, I've got g of -3 plus 5. So let's first of all write that out. I've got x squared plus x. And then I've also got on the end of that this plus 5. So let's just write that out. Now, where I've got -3, I'm going to replace that. I'm going to replace the x with that. So I'm going to put that in a bracket, -3 squared plus -3 plus 5. Okay, and you could either type that into your calculator, or if you want to just show how we do it step by step, -3 times -3 is +9 because we've got two negatives, plus -3 is going to give us -3 plus 5. And now I can just see order of operations, addition, subtraction are of equal parity. So 9 minus 3 is 6, 6 plus 5 is 11. That's the answer to the second question. Okay, last question, I've got 5 times g of 1. So let's write out g first of all. So I've got x squared plus x again. And we're going to multiply that by the 5. Now what's important is I multiply all of it by 5, so place that into a bracket. And what we're going to do is replace x with 1. So I've got 1 squared plus 1 in my bracket. And so 1 times 1 is 1, plus 1 is 2. So this is 2 inside that bracket. And that's just 5 times the bracket, so it's 5 times 2, which is 10. And that's our answer for the third one. Press pause and then complete the independent work. Then press play and I will reveal the answers. Tick or trash. Read the task below. Press pause and identify which of the 3 solutions is correct. Press play and I'll let you know if you're right. This is the plenary for today's lesson. Press pause and have a go at the task. Then press play and I'll do the task with you. You have 4 numbers 2, 3, 4 and 5. Place these numbers into the boxes below to obtain the largest possible value. Here's an example. 5 to the power of 2 plus 3 to the power of 4 is 106. When I considered this, 5 squared is 25 plus 3 to the power of 4 is 81. So this power of 4, or high power, is really important. So the best answer I could come up with for this problem was to do 4 to the power of 5 plus, what numbers do I have left? 2 and 3, and then it'll be 3 squared, because 3 times 3 is 9, whereas 2 to the power of 3, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, and 4 to the power of 5 is 1024 plus 9, so that's going to give me 1033 as my best answer. Can you do better than me? Well done for completing today's main lesson. You are now ready to try the problem solving video and the higher extension video that go alongside this lesson.